It is all good. All right, sound check good. Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth, to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which will be preached throughout all four corners of this earth, and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. May Shalom, beloved Akim and Akwaf, is just by on back again through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, and real quick, I want to just tap into a brief live stream this morning. I had an article from the People's Voice, but apparently they took the article down. All right, but okay, the water for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for giving us the brotherhood. The beloved Elder Manat Zakba did a live stream yesterday going into the same article and playing the same video that I wanted to tap into. And that's the spirit. You heard that horn in the background. So that's what we're going to do. We'll go to the Elder Manat Zakba's page, and we'll run that video. We'll run it right from there. It's the same information I was going to grab through the spirit. All right, so yeah, man. Hey, as you walk, man, we're wrestling against principalities, man. This is a spiritual battle, and Esau's losing that. Esau's losing the spiritual battle. You know, he's good for a carnal one, being that he's been blessed with the sword. But when it comes to the spiritual fight, if we stay tapped into the spirit, we'll win it all the time. But needless to say, you know, what I'm gonna share with you, Akiyam and Akwaf, you know, is the reality of Amos 8 and 11. Pretty much is gonna come to pass soon enough. Obviously, the persecution, you know, of the ministry, you know, of the church. You know, this is just the reality of, you know, that this is probably the straight gate that Yahweh Shai was talking about, that we're gonna have to walk. But needless to say, it's part of us being confirmed. You see, the elect, Lord willing, with probably that precious number, must be confirmed. All right, and ultimately, at the end, Esau loses either way. You know, he loses. But needless to say, this word, all right, that the Lord has put in the mouth of his prophets in these latter days, you know, the resurrection of the ministry of Yahweh Shai being on the scene real time in this revived Western Roman Empire, this is consuming evil E. You must understand that. This word is consuming evil E. Okay? And how we know that, bear with me. Started with a couple of precepts through the spirit. I'm just, I was just prepping the video on the elders page in GMS, South Carolina, OA, if you ain't already subscribed, which you highly likely are. But needless to say, if not, subscribe and be edified. Real quick, let's go here. All right, this is the book of all right, this is the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, in verse 7, and it reads, "For the mystery of iniquity." Matter of fact, bear with me, Akiyam and Akwa. Let me let's get this in the NLT. The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 7 in the New Living Translation. For this lawlessness is already at work secretly, and it will remain secret until the one who is holding back steps out of the way. All right? And evil E is the man of lawlessness. He's coined as the man of sin. Why? Because when you read Psalms 50, he took on the responsibility of taking the Lord's covenant in his mouth. All right? And he's dropped the ball miserably, bro. All right? Evil E is the man of sin. Right? He's the man, the lawless man. Right? Look at. Then, and the Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is holding back. Right? For now, he's letting him do his thing because prophecy must be fulfilled. To remember, scripture says this. Let me get this real quick. Let me jump out of here because I gotta go to the Apocrypha real quick. We must understand prophecy must be fulfilled. You know, you have 2/3 of our people in the mindset like, if there was a God, why would he allow us to go into slavery? If there was a God, why would he allow the wicked to rule? If there was a God, why would he allow babies to die? They don't have the understanding. They don't understand how the Lord works. They don't understand prophecy, right? And ultimately, 2/3 of Jake, they don't want to take any responsibility for what they've done, which the elect, Lord willing, will probably that precious number. That's one of the number one things that they've done. The elect have accepted the reality that they went off, right? And in the form of repenting, constantly shows that they understand what happened, understand what they've done. We broke the law, okay? We broke that first covenant. We played the harlot on our power, bro. You know? We moved treacherously with our power, bro. Understand, right? Look at 2 Ezra 4 and 37. But check this out. By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doeth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Prophecy must be fulfilled. Everything must play out. Simple as that. So this is why evil E, when we go back to 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, this is why evil E's being able to push this rhetoric. All right, he's able to talk all this shit. He's able to pretty much bring forth evil. As the scriptures prescribe, bro. Because again, it's all part of biblical prophecy. Evil E's living out his blessing. He's in the final seconds of his blessing. All right, but look at 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. Then the man of lawlessness will be revealed. And this is the time that we're in. And how he's being revealed is through what? This gospel. This gospel is revealing him, bro. This doctrine's revealing him. Look at, but the Lord Yahweh Shai will delete him with the breath of his mouth, bro. You see? And the breath of the Lord's mouth is the prophets. Amos 3 and 7, bro. The mouthpiece of the Lord are the servants, the prophets, bro. And this word's eating them up. This word's liking out the fire, man, when you read Jeremiah 5, man. And these people would, right? And they're being consumed. Look. Let me read it from the top. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. And again, this is in the NLT. Then the man of lawlessness will be revealed, but the Lord Yahweh Shai will delete him with the breath of his mouth and destroy him by the splendor of his coming, bro. Right? And that's the climax of Esau's visitation. Now, real quick. Now, there's a reason why we call this place United States of Israel, bro. All right, because check out this information here. You got this dude, Nadaju. All right, talking about, pinpointing and targeting Babylonians, which, they're liking us into a Babylonian. But we know who they're truly targeting with this talking point. All right? As far as, Americans who post hate speech should be jailed. All right, now this is from People's Voice, dated January 22nd, yesterday, 2026. Title reads, Israel declares war on free speech. Americans who post hate speech will be jailed for 5 years. And this is coming out of the mouth of, again, Nada, you Jew, you already know. So what I want to do is I want to play the commentary portion of this article. The elder's going to bring it up. We're going to play a video. Listen. And let this run.
The American tradition of free speech protected by the First Amendment is set to be abolished, according to Benjamin Netanyahu, who has warned Americans it is their best interest to listen very closely to his instructions and comply, or else. And you know what? Let's see if we can play this instead of reading it. Because there's a video here. Let's see if we can hear it. This dude be going in.
The American tradition of free speech, protected by the First Amendment, is set to be abolished. According to Benjamin Netanyahu, who has warned Americans it's in their best interest to listen very closely to his instructions and comply, or else. According to Netanyahu, who is touring America during the Christmas holiday season, Israel is eliminating free speech for the common good, and Americans who descend from the Zionist cause must not be allowed to participate in society. America will soon be policed by hate speech laws, drafted by non-Americans, and Israel will be granted backdoor access to surveillance tools to monitor the behavior of American citizens, both online and off. And if that sounds like a future you don't want to live in, you need to understand this clearly. The lock on this prison is being installed right now. And once it clicks into place, there's no turning back. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. While visiting the US over the holiday period, Netanyahu told evangelical leaders that Israel has now designated the United States as the 8th front in Israel's forever war. Netanyahu has added the United States to the list with Gaza, which they flattened, Lebanon, which they've terrorized for decades, the West Bank, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and Iran. If that doesn't send chills down your spine, you should check your pulse. Because Netanyahu wasn't speaking in metaphor. It was strategy, and confirms the psychological operations being run on American citizens for Israel's benefit.
And now we're challenged by new challenges, but equally with new opportunities.
Yeah, I just wanted to interject. Dude said that psychological operations being run on American citizens for Israel's benefit. Stay doing some psych op, just like them videos I talked about earlier today in the video that I did. Seeing an Israelite face come on your computer screen on your phone and tell you Hebrew Israelites, they ugly, they mean. See, and had a little gay dude come on there and give a little fake ass testimony, or even if it's true, using them, embellishing, using sensational language. Though these women, right, trying to find women that was once Hebrew Israelites, get them to give a testimony. See, I think a lot of women are getting dragged into this. Instead of it being a great awakening, it's somehow women are being manipulated by the Israelites.
Right, and I want to say this, like the brother's saying. Like the elder saying, a lot of this is psyop, and we've been telling you this. A lot of this is psyop. A lot of it's theater, what we're seeing, right? And ultimately, Esau is honing in on the ministry. You see? He's trying to find various ways in. You see this? Because, again, we're warring through the spirit, which we have the upper hand in that case. You see? Because Esau, he has no power when it comes to spiritual warfare. Only carnal warfare. You see that? So he's in a conundrum trying to find a way to persecute the church. So he's just going to, you already know the scriptures say, the laws is his strength. They're going to sign things into the law, and this is part of it. This is part of the whole hate speech shit. That's going to allow them to isolate the doctrine. You see? And the scriptures tell us in Proverbs, man, if you fear the Lord, you hate evil, bro. And we know evil is the man of sin. He is the devil that the Bible speaks of, bro. You see that? And hey, we hate him with a perfect hatred, bro. All right? He's an enemy of the Lord, man. All right? And that's the reality of this thing, bro. So understand, this is why the elders and apostles say, understand what you're involved in. Understand what you're involved in. This is not a game. This is not for entertainment, right? What we're doing is through the Spirit, is Lord willing, preparing, you beloved Akim and Akwab, and as well as ourselves, our Baratazar, to be able to go through that fire, man. All right, in the form of the trials and tribulations that are gonna come. They're right around the corner. Everyone that thinks that this thing is a game, that this is a joke, that we're just playing dress up, that it's never gonna come to pass, we're gonna just be out here just talking. We're gonna just keep talking. Every morning, two, 3 times a week going to camp, every day doing lesson, just talking. No, man. When this thing happens, Ezekiel 33, and when this comes to pass, lo, it will come. Then you will know that prophets were among you, man. This is not a game. But needless to say, you already see. So evil E, he's being consumed by this word, bro. He's feeling it. The Spirit of the Lord, the Lord got his foot on Esau's neck. All right? And he's feeling it. Now, real quick, let's do this. And that's pretty much all I need there. So you see how this thing's going to transition. Well, there's a little bit more in that video, as a matter of fact. Bear with me.
Like, it's
front war. And we've come out in many ways victorious. But there's an 8th front. And that's the front for the hearts and minds of people, especially young people in the West. And for me, especially in the United States. And for me, especially on the conservative wing of the United States.
Hearts and minds. Where have you heard that before? It's lifted straight from counterinsurgency doctrine. The same language used in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. It's not the language of liberation. It's the language of occupiers. Used when force alone isn't enough. And the population must be conditioned to comply.
Well, I'm going to leave that right there. So you see these Edomites, starting with Amalek. All right, that scripture said there's a dreadful sound. Let me get this in Job real quick. There's a dreadful sound in the air, man. And it's this word, the book of Job, chapter 15, and verse 21, and it reads, a dreadful sound is in his ears, and prosperity, the destroyer, shall come upon him, bro. All right? So evil EC, when we speak of the vindication of our nation, bro, and how the Lord is going to descend upon Esau via aerial attack, right? Isaiah 34, how he's going to deliver his elect, open up on Esau and level his whole system. You see, this part of this thing is dreadful to evil E, because understand this, evil E done seen some things in the form of the elite. They know what we're speaking. They know there's validity behind what we're saying. You see, they know and understand that. They know. They've seen it firsthand. So this doctrine, this word, is dreadful to them, bro. All right, when they seen the men of the Lord raise up, all right, back in '69, and things start to really happen throughout the course of decades, man. Man, listen, man. They know, they came to the conclusion. They know what's up. They have their monthly prognosticators, those stargazers. They're witches and wizards that are tapping in and letting them know, like, look, this is the reality of the situation. We can try to offset it, but they ain't going to be able to. You see? Amalek is on his way out of here, man, trickling all the way down to the rest of these Edomites. And that's the reality of their story. You see? But this word right here is destroying them, bro. It's tearing them up. And they're going to put unrighteous decrees. They're going to pass unrighteous decrees in efforts to, isolate this truth. Because this truth calls them out. Okay? When you tap into the scriptures in this totality, and I got to fly. I got to run. Let's go get this real quick. The book of Luke, chapter 21, real quick, in verse 24, it reads this. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, talking to the southern kingdom, upon the 70 AD, right? Where, Titus and Vespasian, they sacked the second temple, right? 70 AD, which Yahushua prophesied that this would happen, right? And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations, And Jerusalem, the land, right, shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled, bro. Okay? So the Gentiles, which is the natural Gentiles this is talking to, will be trodden down our land. Okay, until what? Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled, until evil eon comes to until it comes to a close. Remember, Esau is the end of the world. Okay, and Jacob is the beginning with that followeth, bro. All right, and this precept alone isolates the reality of imposters being in our land. And then you can precept this with Revelations 11, you know, and it speaks to the same reality that our land is being trodden down by imposters, bro. You know, evil this word calls them out. As a matter of fact, I got one more for you and I'm gone. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. Right? In verse 12, and it reads, matter of fact, I'm going to start from verse 11. And again, this is talking to the ungodly reasoning with themselves, which is the wicked, evil E. Right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. You see? So Esau has always utilized laws, unrighteous decrees to push forth his rhetoric, his agenda. Look at, therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, bro. You see that? The elect, because he is not for our turn. And he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law. Didn't we just isolate why he's called the man of sin, pursuing the Psalms 50? You see that? Look it. In objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education, he professeth to have the knowledge of power, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. Who's doing that, man? The true men of the Lord. Look, he was made to reprove our thoughts through this word. See, this is that dreadful sound in this nigga's ear. He is grievous unto us to behold, bro. We're grievous unto this dude to behold. For his life is not like other men's, his ways are of another fashion, bro. Okay? There's something else I wanted here. There's another, this nigga's a counterfeit. It mentions, let me see here. Matter of fact, I'm going to just leave it right there because I got to fly. Hey, but hey, there it goes. Amos 8 and 11 is manifesting. All right. Evil East feeling the pressure of this word. And it's only a matter of time. All right, before, you know, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you know, puts an end to this ministry, bro. And now we're going to be like pilgrims on the earth and get ready to get delivered up out of here, man. All right, so yeah, prophecy's moving. Hey, lock in, beloved Akim and Akwaf. Lord willing, you were edified, you were spiritually fed through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash. A double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. A the water for your precepts, Salaki, I couldn't get them. A but that's edification for, you know, you beloved Akim and Akwat that are on the comment board that are going to tune in later. Take notes, jot them down, study them, meditate on them. All right, we there. All right, till next time, beloved Akim and Akwat. Hey, Shalom.